Hello, I'm Laura with IndoorGardening.com, and today we're going to talk about how to take care of your pothos. Pothos, also known as Epipremnum, are very easy care plants, very popular. They're very low light friendly, and they meet a lot of requirements that make them a very low maintenance, easy care plant and fantastic for beginners. So today we're just going to go over the basic care of them. Like always with our care guides, whenever we're going to learn how to take care of a plant, we always want to know where the plant came from. We want to know the origin of the plant. Epipremnum aureum was originally discovered in the Polynesian Islands and has since been taken from there and redistributed all across the world. It is now known as an invasive plant in multiple countries, and a lot of places actually require you to chop it down when you find it growing in your native environment, because it's not native to there. It will actually choke out a lot of other plants. Bad news for being out in nature, but fantastic as a house plant, because this means that it's going to grow prolifically in our home under a variety of conditions, and pretty much anything that we can do to it, it's still going to survive. So let's talk about lighting. Pothos are actually really well known for being able to handle low light. They do not need a lot of light, and if you give them too much light, especially if they have some type of albo variegation or white variegation, it's going to burn. So give them lower light. If you want to give them medium, bright, indirect light type of thing, then that's fine as well. They can handle a variety of conditions, but generally low light is going to work out really well for them. When you're watering your pothos, just make sure that you wait until everything has dried out and then give it water. Don't constantly be giving it water. They can either live in soil mixture or they can live in a water mixture. They can't really live in both. They're highly adaptable, but connecting those two together constantly is going to be a recipe for root rot, so you don't want to do that. Generally speaking, if they're in soil, you want to let them dry out and then give them water, let them soak all that up, and then let them dry out again. The soil mixture that we recommend for pothos is a well-draining mix. So you want to do like 50% perlite, 50% potting mix. You can also do something like maybe equal parts of bark, sphagnum moss, soil, those type of things to break it up and make it chunky. Pothos and Epipremnum in general are aeroids, so they really like to have a lot of air around their aerial roots, and they are going to grow and they're going to want to try to attach to things and basically absorb the nutrients from the air with their roots and their foliage. So they don't need things to be really thick and really heavy, which brings us to fertilization. These plants grow prolifically, but they do it by sucking a lot of the nutrients out of the air, so they don't need a lot of heavy fertilization done to their soil mix. So you can give them a slow release fertilizer and just have it be a regular feed all across the board, or you can water them, and then when you're giving them fertilizer, just have it be a low dose fertilizer every couple of weeks or whenever you're watering them. It doesn't have to be anything too out there. They are not heavy feeders, and they definitely survive on very little and grow prolifically with that. Epipremnum are a vining plant, so they're going to want to climb up things. They normally climb up trees in nature and have been known to choke out trees with their prolific growth around these tree trunks. In homes, generally we have them vining and trailing over, or they'll climb boards or moss poles, things like that. When you allow them to climb, they're going to grow and get big fenestrated foliage, which is really fantastic to see. They can also have better variegation as they mature. So it's pretty amazing if you want to let them climb, but it's not necessarily something that you absolutely have to do. Just know that when you're letting them trail, the foliage will get smaller and smaller as it trails down. If your plant does grow too prolifically, you can chop off parts of it. Generally, as long as there's a leaf attaching to the stem, there's going to be a node there. Sometimes there may even be a little nub that's an aerial root. That's fantastic because you'll be able to grow a whole new plant from that. You can chop pieces of this plant when it gets too big or too long, and then you can grow more of this plant from that. So we actually have a whole video on how to propagate pothos, so we're not going to delve into it too much today, but definitely feel free to check that out if you want. We did want to talk about the pests and diseases that pothos are prone to. They can get spider mites, they can get mealybugs. These are two very, very common pests that are pretty easy to deal with for the most part. You can use rubbing alcohol on a Q-tip for the mealybugs, and then you can use an insecticidal soap spraying every few days for a couple of months, and that's going to get rid of those spider mites for you. The other thing that pothos are prevalent to get is root rot. So if they're sitting in water for too long, you let them dry out too much and then douse them with a lot of water at one time, or if they're just always constantly sitting in wet, soggy soil and their roots never get a chance to breathe, then they're going to get diseases that are going to rot their root systems, and they call it root rot, but it's actually a whole bunch of different kinds of diseases that they can get that all lead to the same consequence, which is root rot. So that's another thing that's going to be affecting your plant if you don't have the watering just right. Now, we did want to talk about variegation. You can get a lot of different varieties of Epipremnum or pothos out there nowadays. You have a Mandrula pothos, which is white and green variegation. There's also like an Enjoy or Pearls and Jade. Those are white and green variegations with a little bit of marbling. You can also get the original Epipremnum aureum, which is a yellow and green variegation, occasionally white and higher light. A lot of the other pothos varieties have come from the Epipremnum aureum. And then last but not least, you can have green on green variegation with a global green Epipremnum. The ones with the white variegation are going to be a little bit more difficult care. They generally need more water and more light to keep that variegation. But if you give them too much light, then they're going to burn. So the white variegated Epipremnum are going to be a little bit more finicky for you. They are very beautiful plants. They're still very easy care. But if you're just starting out and you're looking for a variety that's going to be pretty easy for you, definitely go with an Epipremnum aureum or a golden pothos, also called a Hawaiian pothos. It's a larger version of the same plant. Very, very hardy, very awesome. Epipremnum can survive in a variety of conditions. They are not too finicky at all. The only tricky bit is the watering. Definitely just let them dry out and water them when you feel like they need some water. And other than that, you are good to go. These are amazing, easy care, beginner-friendly plants. They're absolutely awesome for pretty much anybody. They grow prolifically. If you're just trying to learn how to propagate plants, then this is definitely one for you as well. Lots of different ways that you can do this. Be sure to check out indoorgardening.com. There's lots more information over there, and we're always happy to help. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!